awesome to see your names. Whew. Could use a filter on this live stuff. Okay, there we go. All right, so I hope you guys are feeling good this week. It's been so nice to get outside, the sun, for at least for a couple days. Hopefully taking advantage of that, walking, running, biking. All right, let's go ahead and find our mat. We're gonna start actually in tabletop in all fours. So I'm gonna scooch back just a bit. My coffee's coming with me. All right, so we're gonna start in tabletop. So wherever you're at, whatever space you're working in, you don't even really need to have a mat, but it's nice for me just to kind of know where to go for the video. So hands under shoulders, just my knees under hips, and we're just gonna start with some really gentle cat-cows. So just go ahead and drop your belly down, let your chest lift, chin lift, not going into our full range. And then just press through your palms and just finding a little bit of movement here. Not dropping right into your deepest back bend or your biggest rounded spine. Kind of think about it like when we're warming up on the bar and we're coming into those kips, and we don't jump right into our biggest kip. So let's just take a few moments to just work our way into cat-cow, wake up our spine this morning. Give yourself just a few more breaths here. Just gently making your movement just a little bit bigger. One more time through. Just drop your belly, maybe a little bit deeper back bend. And then just press into your palms, round your spine. Keep this rounded spine. Walk your knees a little bit wider on your mat, and you're just gonna drop your hips back towards your heels. Let your palms reach forward. Kind of in just a gentle child's pose, not super deep. And then roll your way back up. Drop your chest, lean a little bit more forward so you get a little bit of flexion in your wrists as you lean chest towards fingertips. And we're gonna do that again. So round your spine, drop your hips back towards your heels. It's a gentle child's pose, not coming all the way down. And then round your way back up, drop your belly through, chin lifts, lean forward. Do that 2 more times. So round your spine, drop your hips to your heels. Then we're gonna work our way back up into cow pose, a little bit more flexion through your wrists. Awesome, last one. Press back, drop your hips towards your heels, and then roll up, chest through. Good, go and come back to center. And we're gonna keep moving through that space, but I want you to add just a little shoulder circle. So you're gonna reach your right hand forward towards the top of your mat. You're just gonna let the back of your hand just slide across your mat as you drop your hips towards your heels, and then reach that arm back behind you, up and around. As you reach up, get really broad through your chest, and then reach forward. Good, so now we're just adding that arm circle in as you reach your hips up, and you can even add a little sway side to side, so hips can kind of drop to the left and then reach over to the right, whatever feels good. We're gonna do one more time this way, big shoulder circle, and then we'll switch directions. So nice up and over, reach behind you, drop your hips back. It's just really dynamic movement this morning. Taking a moment to wake up, loosen up your back, your shoulders, your hips. One more time this way. And this time when we get all the way back to center, I want you to lift your hand nice and high, get broad through your chest, reach through your palm, and then you're gonna thread the needle. So right arm's gonna come under the left, drop your shoulder down. Now be really gentle here, right? We're just waking up this morning. So if you need a little bit more space, you're gonna walk that left hand forward or your knees back, just so that you have a little bit more room under your body. And then that right shoulder can start to reach down towards the mat. Now this left arm is your kickstand. So if you need to relieve some weight in your shoulder, press into the left hand. If not, you can drop down into that shoulder. Now drop your chin so you can see your left hip. This is gonna put your neck in a neutral position. Now while you're here, there's 2 options. You can do one or the other, but please don't do both. Left hand can reach back, behind your back, and you're just gonna bring some weight into that shoulder. Or you can tuck the left toes under and start to straighten out that leg. Now this is gonna bring you into a little bit different twist, a little bit more weight on your shoulder. Good, just please don't do both, because if you roll over, it's not great for your elbow. So kind of just find your space here. We'll be here for a couple more cycles of breath. Then drop that knee. We're gonna press into the left palm and come back to tabletop, right where we started. Good, we're gonna come back into that shoulder circle with the hips drop back. I'll stay in this position so you can see it from a different angle. So now left hand's gonna reach forward towards the top of your mat, and we're just gonna drag the back of your hand across the mat, drop your hips back, and then arm reaches all the way up and around. So nice and slow, working out that side body, hips, shoulder. Just see what you're working with on this side. You can sway your hips side to side. We go one more time. And take this at your own pace. And then switch directions whenever you hit that a good point to change. We're gonna go 4 times around. Well, I'm gonna go 4 times around. If you're moving slower, it's okay to go less. And one more time here. And then once you make your way through that space, we're gonna reach that left arm nice and high, and then we'll come back to thread the needle. So left arm under right this time. So again, just see where you're at. If you need to walk your hand forward, work your knees back, do that. Shoulder drops down. Remember, chin drops towards your collarbone so you can gaze back at your right hip. And if you don't have enough space to drop your head to the floor, you could grab a pillow or a blanket or something just to support your neck. And then just like the other side, option to bring that right hand behind your back or straighten your right leg. The reason I don't want you to do both is because if you straighten your leg and bring your hand back here and accidentally roll backwards, your right elbow's in a very compromised position, and that's just not very cool if something happens. So drop your shoulder down, just see where you're at, or just stay here. Just gonna find some space in this twist. Just keep breathing. Try to create more space through your ribs. Nice deep breaths. One more cycle here. And press into your palm. Come back to tabletop. Awesome. We'll do one more set of cat-cow. So just drop your belly, see kind of where you're at now that we've warmed up a little bit. And then round your spine. And keep your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes. We'll find downward dog. So just start to lift your hips up, pedal your feet. Really gentle again, dynamic movement this morning. Just see where you're at. You can sway your hips side to side. You can bend an elbow. And then eventually just start to settle in here. Lift and lower your heels. Drop your heels back. Chest towards thighs. And start to roll forward towards high push-up. And you're just going to step your right foot to the outside edge of your right pinky. So we're going to come into this runner's lunge with right foot forward and just drop your left knee down. But we did this one last week. We were so sore from all of those silly lunges. Good, while we're here, we're just gonna play a little bit with straightening this leg in this externally rotated hip position. So if this doesn't work for you, it's okay. You don't have to move into this space. You can stay in the stretch. Otherwise, you're just gonna let your hips gently drop back towards your left heel. Just notice your knee is outside your arm right now, so it might feel a little bit different than a typical half splits. So roll your toes towards your shin and just see where you're at here. As you straighten that leg with your hip externally rotated, it might just feel a little different. And then roll forward. We're gonna do that 2 more times. We'll drop back and float forward. One more time. Nice and gentle. See how your hamstring feels. And come on forward. And we're going to stay here in this stretch, or you can drop down to your elbows. Good, and just breathe. You roll to the big toe ball mound of that right foot, pull the knee in, or maybe roll out, or maybe somewhere in between, or maybe just a little bit of movement. You're going to bring your hands under your shoulders. You're going to walk that foot in between your hands now to come into that half splits, more traditional half splits position. So we've already worked that hamstring a little bit, finding some stretch. So drop those hips back towards your left heel as you flex your right toes to your face. Again, it's early. Probably most of us haven't been up and super active yet. So just pull your toes back, pull your right hip back. Just see how you land in this hamstring. Just use your breath here. Inhales to stay, and your exhale to just find a little deeper space. I like to be up on my fingertips so I can pull my chest a little bit towards my toes. One more cycle here. Breathe in and breathe out. And roll your way back up. We're going to find this low lunge position. Now I'm going to come back sideways so you can see where we're going with this. I want you to spin on your left. You're going to spin on your left knee and bring your left foot behind you. And we're going to come up into this, I'm going to call it a mini warrior two. So you're going to press into your right heel, and then your left knee is under your left hip, right knee is out. And while we're here, I want you to keep that hip externally rotated. Think about that knee tracking to the pinky toe side of your right foot, but by way of your hip, not your knee. And now I want you to lean into that knee and just find this stretch. So this is going to be pretty intense through the inner thigh. Good, and also a stretch through that ankle. So notice what's happening with the knee, with the ankle. Can you drop just a little bit deeper into that pose? And then press out, press into your heel to lift back up. Good, again, keep that right glute engaged. You're externally rotating your hip, drop in. Good, breathe. And press out. One more like that. Breathe in, drop into the stretch. And press out. Okay, awesome. Look down towards the left side of your mat. You're going to reach that left hand down. And now spin your right toes forward and find this gate pose. As you reach your right fingertips up and over, we're looking for a big stretch up this right side body. So reach long through your fingertips. You can gaze down at your finger, left hand, or maybe up under your right armpit. Keep stretching, breathe. And then right arm's going to reach up and then engage through your left side body and lift all the way up. Awesome. Spin into that right thigh, right knee. You're going to come back to low lunge. Left foot behind you, hands under your shoulders, and step back to downward facing dog. And pedal at your feet when you get there. Big stretch through the back side of your body. And then when you're ready, left foot steps outside your left hand. Back into that runner's lunge. Good, just like on the other side. So from here, we're just going to play a little bit with that lengthening of the hamstring with our hip externally rotated. So drop into that lunge, and then just see where you're at as you start to straighten that left leg. Pull your toes back. You don't have to find a full extension here of that knee. Good. Breathe, come forward, and then straighten. I can feel a lot of crunchy stuff on this side. Breathe in, and breathe out. We're going to come back into that runner's lunge. You can stay here on your palms or come back to your elbows. You can roll a little bit side to side if that feels good. And open the hip, roll to the pinky side or press down through the big toe ball mound. See where you're at here. See what you're working with in this hip. We'll be here for one more cycle of breath. And start to bring your hands under your shoulders. Just toe heel that foot back between your hands. And then we're going to find that more traditional half splits position. So drop your hips towards your right heel, flex your left toes towards your face, and just see how this side feels. You can be up on your fingertips or maybe on blocks, or pillows, or whatever you have lying around. Pull that left hip back, let your chest reach towards your toes. Use your inhale to stay, and your exhale to fold a little bit deeper over that leg. And one more cycle of breath here. And then on an inhale, start to come back up into that lunge. And then we're going to come into that mini warrior two. So hands around your front foot, pivot on your right knee so your foot is going to the left side, and then press into the left heel and come up. You just bring your hands towards your hips. Good, and just kind of feel this out. So see how you feel here with this hip, an external rotation, and then start to drop into the pose as the knee moves towards the toes. And so I'm looking for some space in that ankle through the back side of that, through your Achilles, through the back of your ankle, as well as a lot of stretch here in my inner thigh. Good. Press into that. And then into the heel, press away. Do that again. Drop into the stretch. Notice what's happening with your hip, with your ankle. Breathe. Press away. And one more. Drop in. Keep breathing. And press away. Awesome. Look down towards the top of your mat. Right hand's going to drop down. Or maybe it's back of your mat. Right hand drops down, and then pivot so that your toes are pointing forward, and left arm is going to reach up and over for this gate pose. Big side body stretch. Look down at your hands, maybe up under your armpit. Keep breathing. Reach long through your fingertips. Good, and then hand's going to reach, left hand reaches high. Use your strong side body to lift your body up. And pivot back towards the top of your mat. Hands around your front foot, and we'll come back to downward facing dog. And just pedal it out when you get there. And inhale, just float forward towards high push-up, drop to your knees, and then you come down to your seat. Good, so we still have a little bit of time, which is awesome. So pull your left heel in towards your booty. We're just gonna work a little bit of some controlled articular rotation. So pull your left heel in towards your booty. I want you to grab behind your right hamstring, and we're gonna work our knee a little bit. So if you've been outside working, or been outside walking, or running, or biking, maybe a little bit more than you have in the last few weeks. So we're just gonna see kind of where we're at right now with this movement. So pull your left heel in towards your butt. You're just gonna lift your right leg away from the floor enough to clear your right heel, so your heel's off the mat. I don't care how close that is, but get your heel away. Now pull your toes back towards your face, and I want you to move your toes to the outside. So we're gonna rotate the tibia, we're gonna externally rotate. So look down below your kneecap and see how that bone is moving. And then we're gonna go toes in. Go toes out, toes in, toes out. Keep your toes out, and then I want you to straighten your leg. Good, and you can lower that down if you have some hamstring limitation, and bend the knee. We're gonna go toes in and straighten and bend. Awesome, go ahead and wrap up that leg. You're gonna wrap under the hamstring, grab your bicep, grab your shin, and we're just gonna take some ankle circles. So 3 ankle circles each way. Big trace of those toes. This might feel pretty good. Just for me. 3 each way. And we're gonna switch sides. So right heel comes in towards your booty, left leg forward. Grab behind your hamstring just to lift that leg up away from the floor. Flex your toes towards your face. Good, so we're looking down below our kneecap. I want you to look at that bone along your shin and see your tibia rotate as your toes go out. You can kind of coax it a little bit with your fingertips or touch it if you need a little feedback. And then toes in. Right, toes out and toes in. Awesome, toes out, and now we're gonna straighten the leg. Good, bend, toes in, and straighten, bend. We'll wrap that up, grab it under the leg, grab your bicep, your shin, so you're putting a big headlock on your leg. So we're not gonna move the knee, we're not gonna move the tibia, we're just going to rotate the ankle. Good, just the ankle. And reach through your toes. 3 each way, just like the other side. And when we're finished with that, set that down. We're gonna bring the soles of the feet together to touch, knees wide. And we're gonna find a little Baddha Konasana stretch here. So sit up nice and tall, just use your chest to lean over your feet and press down maybe a little bit through your on your elbows. Reach your heart forward and breathe. And inhale to stay, and exhale. One more cycle of breath here. Breathe in, and breathe out. And inhale, go ahead and come back up. You can just find an easy cross-legged position. I'm just gonna finish up here with some side body stretches. So reach your fingertips down beside you, get tall through the crown of your head, and then as you press down through your right fingertips, left arm's gonna reach up and over. Bend your right elbow into your side body. Reach long, gaze down at your right hand. Good, and then we'll switch sides. So left fingertips down, pull that left elbow in and reach up and over. Look down at your left hand. Good, one more time each side. Right hand down, left hand reaches. Last time, left hand down, right hand up. Good, fingertips reach down to the floor. Just drop your chin to your chest. Get long across the back of your neck. And then chin over towards your right shoulder. Stretch the left side of your neck. And then let your chin fall back to center and over to the left. We'll do that one more time, so just let your chin drop down and come over to the right. Move nice and slow, find that stretch across your neck and over to the left. Good, bring it back down to center. And then with an inhale, lift your chin to neutral. Awesome, I hope you guys feel good. Whew. At least better than when you woke up this morning, right? Thank you so much for coming, for joining me, and if you're watching the recording back, for coming and checking it out. And I'll be here next week. We'll keep at this. It's so nice that you guys were able to join me. Have a great day. See you later.